And we live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It is not going to happen this recap, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. Y'all say what's up to her.
Good afternoon and good evening. Be sure to like the video, share it if you are able, subscribe if you like what James is doing.
Absolutely. Please subscribe to me. But while you're subscribing to me, please subscribe to Mrs. Best. Any reviews or recaps I will cover on my channel. It's because collaboratively we share the reality TV shows and cover some on her channel as well. And also Mrs. Best does videos on her own too. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe, especially if you like all the reality TV shows we cover. For example, we have Love After Lockup, which is one of my personal favorites we do on her channel, as well as we have Married at First Sight, which is a new favorite of mine. I am obsessed with that show. It is hilarious. I love it. And we have some great debates and topics on that. So if you love those shows, go ahead and subscribe to Mrs. Best. American Born is here. Shout out to AB. Thank you for being here and being my official, unofficial moderator. We appreciate you so much. And Lexi Lee made it in the house. Hey. How you doing? Thank you for making it live. We appreciate you as well. So, y'all, we have a lot to talk about, and we gonna spare no expense on this. So let's get right into it. So the show opens up with Shamia. She is going to her attorney's office to check on her contract from the run company that she is starting from Croatia. And Shamia is, coming up in these people's law offices trying to rob and give us instead of her draws. She got on this very tight ass jumpsuit. And I said, Shamia, we are supposed to be in a business meeting. Why do you have that on? It was not appropriate, ma'am. Don't do that no more. She's so cute to me, but not appropriate. But the lawyer explained to Shamia that the owner of the rum company that is already established and has been established for years said that he's not going to fulfill that contract, and what he would like to offer her is a chance for her to buy wholesale products and sell if she is interested in doing that, which is a whole lot different from her having creative control and doing her own. It's kind of similar to what Toya Bush Harris had over there in Napa Valley with the wine company. It's very similar to that, if y'all understand what I'm saying. So it was a gut punch to Shamia because she had put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of design, a lot of trying to get the flavoring for rums and stuff like that. So she put in a lot of footwork. And also she said in her confessional that, as much as she put in work and as much as it was slapped in the face, there is a chance it could happen. But in the end, Gerald ended up being right about this all along. And then they show a flashback of Gerald asking all the right questions. So, ma'am, you were in great company of business because your husband knew what to ask, how to ask, where to ask, and why you should ask those kind of questions. So it is unfortunate, but she is still going to throw her launch party for it anyway because she had already pre-planned it before anything was set in stone. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about understanding that Shamia's line is not going to be happening to the extent that she wants it to happen?
I don't quite understand what Shamia was expecting, just considering that you were going into another brand that's already established. So the most they could do is give you a flavor or something, but it sounds like she wanted like most of the profit for that. But if the company is already an existing business and has a reputation, then they are doing more for you than you are doing for them.
Yeah.
Just from a business perspective. So I didn't quite understand her expectations. It sounds like she should listen to her husband. Listen, if I decide, like, I write music and poetry, right? But I am not like someone that's like, oh, I need to go share this. I want to be the next Beyonce. So if I go and do anything music related, I go and I ask my husband. And I take his advice because he does it on that level. Shamia, if you have a spouse that is good in business and has made millions in business to where your house has a name and not an address, then maybe you should listen to him. But I also appreciate that even though she was wrong, she still pointed out my husband was right. And I see a lot of people attacking Shamia and Gerald's marriage. A lot of them are people who don't have a marriage and may never have one. But maybe stop attacking Gerald, because as we get to see Shamia more as a full-time housewife, we see that a lot of how he is probably because she doesn't understand certain things and she needs a little bit of supervision. That's just my opinion.
Absolutely, because to me, she has the like. It's not a cup runneth it over. This lady has a whole pot kettle runneth over. Like she has literally everything at her footsteps, and I just feel like for me, I would just sit and be pretty. If it were me, I would just sit and be pretty. I wouldn't do shit. I just wouldn't. Now I get that's not her life and she want her own, but if it's that required of you, I just wouldn't do it. Like I just would. I'd be like, okay, well, this was a good idea. I guess we're just gonna have to wait until next time. And it seemed like Gerald ain't mad about the money being spent for whatever she has done so far. So I don't understand. But that's Shamia's business, not mine. Let me get my comments really quickly here. Um, hey Shani, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Um, AB said, why is she launching rum that hasn't been approved yet? Uh, listen, I don't know how that business works. I do know she has to do a lot of importing, but you know,
I think
ma-
Shamia just jumped into something without asking the right questions, which Gerald tried to tell her and us.
yeah,
And she probably did it because it was her first season as a full-time housewife. She probably just wanted to look like she has something going on other than the fact that she's just a housewife. But this is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you don't have businesses, Shamia, it's okay. It's just your first season. Like, calm it down.
well, this is my problem with this whole situation because she does have things going on. Like she is very busy outside of Housewives with appearing at the baseball, basketball, football arenas, and then she's acting on top of that. Let put focus into that because that also, depending on how you go about it and depending on how serious you take it, that also could be highly revenuous for you in the terms of being a high paid actress. I mean, and not much money has to go out with doing that. It's just mainly focused on your talent. You live in Atlanta where a lot of films are being made. Y'all, Atlanta is on top of LA and Virginia. Those are probably some of the top locations that films are made outside of New York too. But I don't see her doing soap operas yet. So, But yeah, I just feel like she probably should just focus on that and not try to get a industry or e-commerce business. Like I just think that she just needs to do a talent business. Hi, Keywan. You guys, please subscribe to Keywan. After my live, Keywan is going live, which she doesn't do that often, but she is going to be live, and we all plan to be there to support her and listen to her live. She will be doing Heart and Hustle Houston. So if you guys are not subscribed to Keywan, I don't know what y'all waiting on. Go ahead and click on her very pretty picture here, or her information is in my description box. Click on her link and meet us all over there when we're done here. So that way we can all support her in her journey of being live for Heart and Hustle Houston. Love you, Keywan. We'll be there right after this. But her husband told her, no, it's not a good idea. She turned it around to do it. You are you married to a business mogul. Why not listen to him? She wants something for herself. And that's why I said she has plenty of things for herself. I just think, to me, after watching these last few episodes, Shamia processes late. If y'all know, if y'all, so I'm not saying she's slow. Like, please don't. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she processes things very late. So when she's in the moment thinking about it and processing it, and then does it, it's like, well, you had everything at this time, but she waits. She thinks about it on Monday, explains it on Tuesday, processes it Wednesday and Thursday. Friday wants to say it but never does, and then Saturday explodes when it gets too late. That's how Shamia works. Not good for business. That is not a business mindset. Literally, business people think on the millisecond, if you really want to be honest. So I just don't think she has a business mindset. I just don't. Sorry, not sorry. I love her so, but sorry, not sorry. That reminded me it was DOA. It was because she's trying to partner with an already established business. And sometimes that's not a bad idea. It's not. I get where her vision was for this run company, but the problem is when you have an old established business that's already like cut and dry, it runs itself, it's hard for them to want to bring somebody on and cut an avenue out for them to be successful. That's like Aunt Jemima being famous for her pancakes, and then someone want to give her blueberry and strawberry pancakes. It's not gonna happen because it's already successful. So that's how I look at it. Let me see. Yeah, I just want to make sure I get everybody's chats here. Yeah, she doesn't listen. She doesn't. Absolutely, I agree. She should ask her husband more questions like, "Why are you saying no?" This way, she could have probably understand better. I think even if he explained it to her, she still was going to process it and still do it, and then wait too late and say, "I told you so." She has to learn how to stop doing that. I get you can't teach people how to process their mindset once they've been doing it for so long, but that's her problem. That's her problem. Because you use your brain, twin. She sure do. That's one thing about Mrs. Best. She definitely thinks. Like she trained to think. That's her whole. But she's been doing that even when I met her. She was doing that. So yeah. Hi, did you see the reunion sneak peek that came out? Yes, I am gonna do the reunion looks, y'all. I am. I'm gonna do them. I just gotta pick a time and a date. I've been busy lately, so sorry. Hi, Kevin Reynolds. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I would have gone a different direction based on the solid advice. All ideas don't work. They don't. They don't. Candy is one of her best friends. She's doing plays every other week. Go audition for one of those. There you go. I agree. That would be great. Keywan J. Hey sis, don't watch that show, but gonna be in the live with you. Thank you, Shani. We appreciate you. Yes, please. Let's get these likes up. Let's make sure we're all subscribed to me as well. I know everyone in here subscribed to me, but let's make sure if anybody's new in here, please subscribe. Then no local peaches. Yep. So the next scene, I'm gonna go to the next scene. So next scene we have is Kay Michelle and her husband, Dr. Caston, and Angela and Charles Oakley. They decided to do this very sensual yoga inspired class. It looked like Kama Sutra to me, but that's neither here nor there. So they're in there doing that, and it was funny because Charles is not with these TVs and cameras. It's very obvious. I think the difference between him and Gerald over there is that Charles liked to be funny and has a goofy personality and like really likes to be an asshole, as Kay Michelle would like to say. So I think he gets kind of joy on being like this, where Gerald is more reserved and just quiet and just kind of, disappear. So I think that, they don't want to be on this show. They really think it's probably a joke, but, it's funny to watch him in scenes. So after, they get done with their yoga classes and everything, Angela asked Kay Michelle, had she spoken to Shamia? And she says, "No, I have not spoken to her. I do plan to reach out to her just to kind of talk about, what's going on. Because I do feel like the women are ganging up on her. And I don't, like it because I don't want her to feel like I'm adding on to that." And Angela said a lot of the issues that she has in this group, she brought upon herself. So I don't really feel bad. I don't have an issue with her. I just feel like she's always, plant a seed, starting mess, and then getting surprised when somebody, responds back to her. Now, here's the thing. I do agree with that, but the problem is it's not the way Angela's explaining it. And let me tell you why. We said it on this channel because Mrs. Best told me, and I have to give credit to her, Shamia processes things way too late and gets her lick back too late. So when she comes out of nowhere with bullshit, you're like, well, damn, where the hell did that come from? Because it's probably things or situations that people forgot about. And so when she brings shit up, it's like, it's out of left field because it's things that are just so far past us that we didn't even think to even go back to that. So I think that that's really the big issue on that. But Kay Michelle plans to meet up with her and hopefully get some, clear understanding. So Mrs. Best, how did you like the yoga class with these four? It was an odd pairing too, I must say. Angela and Kay Michelle being it was odd to me. I don't know why.
No, it's an odd pairing. I didn't really care much for the scene, but it didn't bother me. I agreed with Angela and what she was saying about Shamia, but I don't know. I think I'm just drained that this is still on TV. This has been a long season of the same thing, episode after episode. And when the same thing's not happening. They're discussing the same thing. So it makes it hard to care about scenes like this. But I'm just wondering when Angela's fans will be out. I want one.
Child, you can
So
get them
long as she's
fans.
not going to charge me $47.99 for a small ass plastic fan, the way that Sheree charged us $160 for a hoodie
or a T-shirt.
You made people wait 20 years for She by Sheree to charge them almost a PG&E payment on a hoodie, and I just cannot.
Yeah, but speaking of K Michelle, she meets up with Shamia. They had a nice, pleasant introduction, and kind of was just laughing and talking. So K Michelle gets right to it. She wants to talk about why Shamia went so far with Porsha and all of this happening. She said that Porsha has been going low, so why can't I? Why can't I go low and meet her where she is? Like, why can't I do that? Like, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. If I don't do it, then like, why people? The people are gonna say, why am I not standing up for myself and stuff? And K Michelle said, yeah, but you started on her based out of nothing. You mentioned her baby, and then you mentioned that Dennis sneaks the baby over there to you and Gerald, so that way you have constant access without her knowing. Anybody was going to pipe up upon that. Any mother would. And then also, not to mention, you mentioned her mom and the situation, which was uncalled for. Like, I just feel like that was not the move to make if you were trying to rectify that relationship. Now, I do agree with K Michelle because we all been saying this. It just seemed like Shamia waited way too late to bring that shit up. She should have brought it up at the reunion, like most of us wish she would have done. But the problem that I have with Shamia, and this is no slight to her, is that I feel like, to me, let me explain. So let me explain this first, and then I'm gonna make my point again. Sorry, y'all. I kind of jumped ahead of my brain. So Shamia mentions that she's gonna have a Halloween party and that she invited all the ladies, and she sent a text message to Porsha to invite her. And Porsha responded with the, "Girl, I'm not coming to your house. You are sick as fuck. Go ahead and enjoy your party. I won't be there." And so she shows K Michelle the text message of what Porsha said. Now, I agree with Porsha. I'm not mad at Porsha for that. I don't get Porsha much on my channel, but I wasn't mad at that because that is weird. Why would you invite me to your party without any
Because they're
pre-text
on a
conversation?
show the same way Porsha invites people to things and she don't like them. They're on a show. Like, that's the thing with people. Like, if we're gonna do it's their job, the cast has to invite people. We obviously know that's the reason Shamia was inviting her to her house. I actually think it's weird that somebody talked about Porsha's mama in a way that she feels so offended by, but you didn't block her. Porsha and Shamia are one and the same. If somebody spoke about my mama the way that Shamia brought that up randomly on vacation at the dinner table on national television in front of a bunch of people that got nothing to do with our beef, I'm blocking you. The fact that her text got through was the funny part to me. But I'm not going to fault Shamia for inviting her, because that would mean you got to go back and issue out virtual apologies to all of the people we've gotten at across show after show after show when we say, well, you got to invite them anyway. It's your job. You're on the show. That's the same way. Let's call a spade a spade. That's why Porsha invited Shamia to her house earlier in the season. She didn't want to. She only did it because of the show. So I don't know. This is why I say Porsha and Shamia are one and the same. And I look at everybody crazy for choosing sides because they both wrong. They both brought up moms. They both doing crazy stuff. Yeah. I mean, what can we do?
I agree with you. However, what I'm going to say about that, what will validate that point even more for me, was Gerald's birthday. The fact that she didn't invite Porsha to Gerald's birthday, I would have actually had like a 100% agreement with you.
Gerald's birthday doesn't have to do with the show. He doesn't want to film.
But it was still filmed.
It was filmed, but he doesn't want to do with the show. So if it's somebody that is not wanting to be involved with the show, I don't feel like that counts. But if it's like you inviting someone to something that's clearly for the entire cast, such as this event, like, Porsha, what the hell? You would have had to be invited anyway, especially since you got this contract.
No, I understand what you're saying. I said I agree with that, but I still feel like it still was filmed. Like, anything that gets filmed, I'm sorry, that still counts to me. And now, if it wasn't filmed and she didn't invite Portia, then I wouldn't. Then I would like, yeah, you're 100% right. But no, that was still filmed, and half the cast went. So I just feel like to me that would have been more so of her doing it because production told her so. But the fact that she didn't and then waited to this time to do it, I kind of like, nah, I don't see that. But I kind of felt like to me, it was like, yeah, I got to do this because I got to invite her. And I do agree with you on the why Portia didn't block her because I would have too. Like you talking about my mama, my child, yeah, you blocked. So
And the
I don't
same
know.
thing applies to Shamia. I don't understand why you chasing after this girl trying to be her friend when Portia brought up the moms first. You should have blocked Portia at that reunion.
She should like, or
And then none of this
it's
would even be a
one or two
discussion.
things needed to happen. Either you needed to block her or you needed to fight her. One or two needed to happen. That's how, and I'm not, saying women should be violent with each other, but when Shamia got to breaking down in that confessional, talking about this is like a divorce, and Portia was my person and everything, so of course this hurts me. I'm not saying that that's not true and valid because they were friends for a very long time. Totally get it. But the problem that I have with it is that you act as if this woman stabbed you and just watched you bled out to death. Like,
I mean,
she.
we don't know what happened is the thing. And that's why I say I don't want them on this show no more or get rid of one of them. Preferably get rid of Porsha because she's had a shot as a housewife and she's shown us that all she's going to do is lie about storylines as it relates to who she's dating. If she gets a divorce, she's not going to share nothing. Like, just give the new person a shot if we have to pick and choose one. But that's why neither of them should be here.
Yeah, they could get rid of both of them, Shamia comes off like she can't let go and move on, the constant apologies. I think because she knows what she has to do, but she doesn't want to do it. So it is kind of like she's apologizing to all the other ladies to try to stand in some solidarity with them. So that means I feel like
Shamia is
she's
a Taurus. No shade. Taurus women do this a lot. Shamia's not going to let go of it. That's that stubborn, bullheaded ass Taurus energy. And then she's going to hold on to it. And I feel like it's because Tauruses hate to look wrong, male or female. They don't like looking wrong. They don't like being proved wrong. And I feel like Shamia struggles with that. But Kevin, we wouldn't even go talk about her toes. That's how little we cared about it.
I didn't because I listen. I don't. I
Kevin
had
that
to see.
gave her toes
Listen,
life.
I had to. The reason why I put that up there is because I have to see it to believe it. I'm one of those people. So if I can't see her feet, I'm not going to talk about her feet. I
Which
have
is
to
why
see
she
them.
does not show them.
Yeah. So if she's there, yeah, I'm not going to talk about her feet unless she showed them to me. Unless I could see her playing the piano with her feet, that's when I'll talk about them. But until then, no, I'm not talking about her feet. If Portia was doing that to one of your girls, you'd be going crazy. That's my point too. I kind of felt like Shimmy, you knew what you were doing. And you blew up in the spot because he probably wasn't telling Portia that the baby was going over there to y'all. So
I highly doubt that. I feel like Shamia made that baby stuff up in her head. Because I just don't see Dennis caring enough to do all of that. I just don't. Not with somebody with as much money as Gerald. I don't think Dennis would say anything to rock the boat. I don't even think Gerald cares about this drama, if I'm being honest.
probably not, but maybe if it hurts Shamia much, maybe he might care. I'm surprised Portia responded at all. I'm not. I'm not responding. I'm actually not surprised by that. I actually thought she would have surprised. I thought what I was surprised about is that it was just that little message. I thought it'd be a long ass book. I really did. I thought
You
it'd be
gotta
more.
care to write a book. I don't think Portia cares like that. And I do think that's part of why Shamia says she feels like she's in a divorce. I will say that that's the one difference between them that I do see. I don't think Portia gives a crap about her friendships the way that those who are in friendships give a crap about her. Because she switched close friends every other year. The only consistent people in her life is her mama and her sister.
Yep. If you need intense therapy to deal with this show, maybe you don't need to be. Maybe you don't need to deal with this show any longer. I agree. Team Portia, get rid of Shamia. Ugh, not Team Portia. Lord Jesus.
Disastrous.
Girl, get this. Girl, get off this show and give your husband that son. You worry about him. You leaving for you don't get a son.
Why can't she have kids of like on her own? I did not catch the reason why, and I'm not asking to be funny. Like I'm just genuinely curious. Like
I
we
think
know
she
Sweet Tea
said,
from Married to Medicine, she had her endometriosis. We know, like she didn't really explain it. There's a lot of holes in all of Shamia's stories.
I think, listen, I don't remember what she said. I think she said she had too many failed rounds of IVF that they decided to do the surrogate route since it was, draining on her. So that's what I do remember her saying, but I don't remember anything else. Like, I don't remember anything else. So you're right. She doesn't go into details of why she can't carry herself, but I don't
It's like
know.
you got us on this fertility journey, but I would love to know a little bit more as to why you're on it. But Shamia, they just need to
Maybe.
get rid of Porsha and Shamia in order for the show, I think, to do well. Because I think they got the casting right finally. But these two are bringing down the show.
Maybe Dennis had PJ with him one day and he stopped over there to talk to her or Gerald about something. That could be. I mean, it could be. I don't think Shamia is interesting enough for Bravo to remove Portia and keep Shamia. I don't. I agree
That's
with that.
true.
I
That's
agree
very
with that.
true.
I absolutely agree with that. She almost passed away. I thought when she carried the first one, I thought, "Do you good, AB?" Because I don't know. So if that is the reason, okay, that's understandable. I never knew that. If she was more interesting and fun on the show, I could see Bravo giving her a spinoff show about her surrogacy and the process of everything. I don't think she could. Yeah, she's not interesting enough to get a
Shamia
spinoff.
does too much for the camera. She's one of those people on reality TV who you can tell is aware that the camera is there and decides to put on. But the same things y'all are saying about Shamia, I personally feel like Portia is boring and has been for many years. And then when she
Absolutely.
do anything interesting, she don't want to share it on the show. She runs away.
The only time Portia is interesting when she's trying to fight somebody, and that's sad I have to say it like that, but that's the only time I ever find Portia interesting. But speaking of Portia, we over at her and Salmon's house, and the reason why I say her and Salmon's house because she got pictures. And for those of y'all who are new to my channel, hi, welcome, like, comment, subscribe. But Simon's name is Salmon on my channel. So that's Sam. So we actually saw the big ass portraits of her and Salmon on the wall. They had his face blurred out and covered with a black tarp. And I said, not you still got the pictures up of your ex-husband on the damn wall. Like, damn, Portia. But she's gonna remove those pictures and put up new pictures of her and PJ because she said that that is her world. That is her world now. She is a mom first, so she's gonna do a nice little photo shoot of her and her daughter alone. And as they're taking the pictures and everything. She said that she's happy to be able to do things like this and really give her daughter all of her and everything. She speaks to Lauren and tells her about her dating life. She talks about that she's going to be going out with Mike, K, Michelle, and Caston. They'll be meeting out for a little double date because she hasn't really been giving them much time because one, he's been busy and she's been traveling recently. So she hasn't really given him much energy. So she's going to make up with him. And Lauren asks, how's that going? And she goes, well, the problem is that the baby thing keeps coming up. And I really don't want to have another baby. I really don't want to carry again. And I think that that's going to be the deal breaker that turns off. Now, I have forgot about that whole storyline and all of this. And then she said the thing with Sway is that, Sway is cool as well. She really is enjoying her time. So she's really just having just a fun time just dating these two people. Now, we know in today's time who she ended up with, but it's funny to see this because this is definitely giving storyline realness, but not that real because we knew that she was going to go wherever the big money resides. And according to the Atlanta streets, Sway got a lot of money. More money than, oh boy, from allegedly. I have to say allegedly over here, but that's what the word on the curb is. So, Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about, Portia doing the photo shoot with her daughter and her discussing with her sister? I'm
The
not going to talk
baby
about the
is
Shamia thing
cute.
because we, yeah.
The baby is cute. You can move on. It's a waste. I got things to do. I'm looking forward to Keywan. Listen, the baby is cute. I don't have anything negative to say about Portia as a mother, even though I don't care for her. She seemed like a good mom. I don't give a damn about you doing a photo shoot because now you want to talk about getting rid of Simon, but you didn't want to talk to us when you was with him. You ran from the show because you didn't want to answer to how you got him. Then you go through your divorce and you couldn't talk about him or film in his house legally. Portia has zero to give.
Yeah. That's funny. I do agree with this, Kevin. Shabby is hella weird. Plays victim as a manipulator tactic. This is a dangerous person to be associated with or to be around. Period. Makes sense why Shami is excessively apologized. Yeah,
I just want to know why the RHOA audience is so quick to call out Shamia for doing this, but nobody called out Porsha for all the years that she's been doing it.
when does
Please get
Porsche
rid of both of them.
apologize? Porsche doesn't apologize though.
She doesn't, but she pretends to.
Yeah, we have a different word for Portia for that topic. Yeah, she doesn't apologize to me as the I'm sorry queen, but Portia act like she don't do shit when she do wrong. That's the difference. Like, I don't know what's up with Mike. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Agreed. Shamia was a better friend of, and she was likable. Her personality now just seems dark and jaded.
That's true.
Yes, I think there's way too much pressure on her because she wants the spotlight. I don't think she can handle it. I don't think she can.
Nobody's putting pressure on this girl. Is the thing.
Yeah.
All she gotta do is be herself. No pressure.
Mike is a joke. He's over there with Courtney Wayne doing skits. He wants to be famous. Yeah, I heard Country Wayne, not Courtney, Country Wayne over there killing YouTube right now. I heard that. Shout out to him. I love it. What do we say? We all know we all have so many questions regarding Sam. We sure do. But Salmon over there, y'all can watch the Tasha K interview. It was actually interesting. Shame needs to stay in her lane and run the streets instead of staying home with her kids. Stop. Porsha is an OG. Leave her alone. No. When Porsha wrong, we're gonna call it out. But we haven't seen a little scene with Drew. I keep forgetting about Drew this season. Drew's over there doing her acting classes, and she video chats Pooch Hall, which, if you guys understand, they had a whole big ass, like, one of those seasons of the game, BT's The Game. They had a whole sector about him and her and how she stole him from Melanie. That was Tia Murray's character. It was funny to see them acting. I had a bit of nostalgia, and I did not realize that has almost been 20 years ago that show has aired. I said, damn, 20 years, y'all? Shit. That's crazy as hell to think that show premiered almost 20 years ago. I was like, damn. But Drew is saying that she has to keep the acting bag going. She has a movie with Robert Richard coming out. And she's trying to do another movie in the same month. And she's saying that right now that her divorce, her and Ralph are going to be finalizing that soon. And that Ralph is wanting to seek primary custody of the kids. And she said everything that she do is for, her kids. And, so she's wanting to put the focus on her and her kids. Now, the problem that I have with Drew with her saying all this is that, baby, whoever can get the babies on time to school should have the primary custody of the kids. And since you couldn't do that, we'll see if Ralph over there is going to be able to do that. But
I mean,
good luck, Drew, with that.
To be fair, I know a lot of us want to attack Ralph, but when it do come to the kids, he is entertaining Josiah, the older child that Drew had with the other guy, the deadbeat. And Drew, somebody had forwarded to me a YouTube video from like a reputable person who did a video and like had the court documents from Drew's little situation. She didn't just mess up like once or twice. She messed up over 20 times, and not just with the kids' school. She also was missing the therapy, the court-ordered therapy for the kids to navigate and process the divorce. Now, it's one thing to miss school. You could easily do some homework or something like that to make up for it. It's one thing to get your kids to school late, but to take away their right to process the divorce by not taking them to therapy and then blame it on you being too busy I see why the judge ruled the way he ruled. Listen, I know Ralph is an asshole. I'm not saying he's not, but Drew, you prioritize another shit over your kids, and that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Drew stays working. Good for her. Yeah, Drew be on all the Tubi and the Lifetime movie network. She do. Drew, you need to go to Hallmark as well. They want you over there too. Go on, Drew.
I've seen her on Hallmark.
She's been on Hallmark? Okay, I have not
seen her on Hallmark. It looked like an old movie, but I did see something recently.
Drew must be bad with money. So much talent in all these jobs, but fighting over a house and questionable wigs. Y'all, actors are not paid, Mrs. Bessie. Actors is not paid like what we people think they is.
What Drew is paid, though, because we did get to see her finances, there is no reason that this lady should be crying
But
over
look
a
at her
house.
team, though. Look at she had 20 people
Fire them.
arguing.
If somebody brings you down, I don't care if you're my friend. I have had friends that I have hired when I've been supervisors places. I have fired them, and we still friends today. Most people should understand business. If your team is bad, then switch out your team, Drew.
I feel the same way because that's too many people. I feel like that's probably why she ain't got no damn money because she got to pay 50 people.
I'm
I
like,
feel
James,
like
you was on married. What was that? The Daddy Show. James said, "If I was, I'd fire everybody." Listen,
me
you
too.
understand? Drew
No,
needs to fire her team.
let me explain something to y'all. I'm a very keen. Business is business. Personal is personal. I do not intermix the two. I do not see you as my friend when we're doing business. That's why I would never hire none of my friends because I do
Mhm.
not see the benefit of losing a friendship over money. I just don't see it. Business, if I hire you, I have no emotional ties to you. You're here to do a job. And then I'm not going to have 50 people and 3 of them do the same job. I'm not going to have all
I
that.
think she's just trying to take care of her day ones, which I respect. But everybody's grown. Everybody
We need
should
to
take
stop.
care of themselves.
No, we need to stop doing that in this
She needs an
time of
agent.
society.
Drew needs an agent, a manager, and an accountant. I don't think she needs that whole team.
No,
The
she
only
doesn't.
people who she could keep is the makeup and hair, obviously, and a stylist, but really makeup, hair, stylist, agent, manager, she doesn't need much else.
She doesn't. I don't feel
But
like
she had like 40 people
she
looking
did.
like candy in the gang.
She had a wigologist. She had the driver. There was 2 drivers, and then there was a backup assistant with the real assistant. You don't need all that.
She had a braider and somebody who
Yeah,
does wigs and a hairstylist. And that was the part that threw me off because as quiet as kept, your wigologist should know how to do your braid down and they should also be your braider.
exactly.
Okay. So
You
I'm
should
just looking at it like
get one that know how to do all of the above. That's what they had to do back in the day. Let me tell y'all, when my mama was getting her hair done, her stylist, she probably had 2 different styles. If my mom did a shortcut, she had a stylist for that. And if my mama did like the press and curl, weaves and braids, she had a stylist for that. My mom probably had 2 stylists that I know of for sure. Because sometimes somebody is good at a shortcut, and sometimes some people are good at a press and curl or some braids. But yeah, you don't need 10
Drew
different people
acting
to do
like
one head.
she act like she somebody working in government, be top flight security, the secret service. She act like she need it all.
Right. She could get rid of at least 5 of those people. I'm just
She
saying.
can,
Yeah, she can. And then
especially the way they
and
act.
then from what I heard, the makeup artist actually does Portia's makeup. So I'm like, okay, well, he got a consistent job. He don't need you if
Thank
he's doing
you. I
Portia.
wouldn't want the same artist that's doing somebody else's looks because people have their own styles. That's probably why she looked just like Porsha now. Down to
Yeah,
the
that's what I
BBQ.
heard. Yeah. Never watched a game. The one time I watched an episode, I knew I'd never watch another episode. Show gave Timu energy before Timu was invented.
The game was like for millennials. We were all like in our early 20s. The game was everything
It
to
was.
us. But I did try to rewatch it, and rewatching it now at this age, it does look Timo-ish.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. Drew screwed up with those kids. She did. I thought JoJo had to leave with the house with Drew.
He
We don't.
did, but Ralph has still been like taking him on family vacations and
Mhm.
spending time with him, which I'm glad about. Because at first it looked like he was ignoring that one child. So I'm glad to see that at least somebody's concerned for the kids. I'm not saying Drew doesn't love her children. I'm not saying she's a terrible mom, but she's definitely not a responsible parent if you're causing your kids to be late to school all the time and you're not getting them to therapy. And then you force them to argue to live in a house with toxic energy because y'all want to argue over a damn house. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. But that was it on Drew. Good luck, Drew. We hope everything works out for you. So the next scene. So Portia is driving her mom over to this house, and she has a big surprise for her. And when Miss Diane walked up into the house, she had people surprise her, and it said on the big ass key that you get when you buy a house, "Welcome home, mom." And when she saw that the house was actually for her, she asked Portia, "Oh, you're the contract on this house?" She said, "Yes." So Miss Diane is ecstatic. So the way Portia explained it is that, y'all know Miss Diane was living in her Duluth house, and Portia got a cash offer on the house that also came with a $1 million form of equity, which y'all know that's cash on the barrel hand. So what Portia did was Portia bought this house outright, and this is James's 2 cents. Y'all don't have to go with this. I'm just going to explain it. This is allegedly Portia. Don't be coming after me. So what I feel like Portia did was Portia probably got the $1 million, paid probably about 600,000-700,000 cash for Diane's house, and then caught up her mortgage for the rest of the year, so she ain't got to pay it. I feel like that's what Portia did. Don't shoot the messenger, because Salmon did say that house was $25,000 a month. Between mortgage and insurance and everything. So the taxes.
I believe it. That's not bad. But when you have to take on that new mortgage and buy Simon out of this house in order to keep it, I'm sure what she was paying for the other house and the mortgage is probably what she's paying in the current house just for the upkeep, the insurance, the HOA fees. We haven't even gotten to the mortgage yet.
Yep. So that's why I feel
Tell us you on a budget, Portia. That might make me like you again. I'd respect that. Hell,
I would too. I wish she would just be honest about that, because to me, I'm not saying Portia doesn't make money, y'all. I know she does, but $25,000 is a lot of money a month for a mortgage, taxes, insurance, and all of that. That's a lot of fucking money a month. So I feel like that's what she did, and it's a smart move if that's what she did. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that's my logical guess, because there was a time where a blog had posted that Portia really couldn't afford that house. So I feel like that's what she did, which was a smart move if she wanted to keep up that appearance. But you don't need a house that fucking big. And it's just you and Pilar. You really don't need that house. But yeah. But congratulations are in order. I think that was a bold move. I enjoyed the scene a lot, because to buy a house outright where your mama doesn't have a mortgage, she ain't got to worry about that kind of bills, I think that's amazing. I do. To pay it back in that way, I think that is absolutely amazing. So thank you, Portia, for sharing that with us. It was a good scene for me. I enjoyed it. In the same scene, Dennis is there also, because, Dennis is the father of her child and had a good relationship with the mom. Dennis and her haven't really talked since he pulled that move of bringing her engagement ring over by the house and just say, hey, let's just do something with it, trying to see where her mind was. And she said that, regardless of where they are, that's still the father of her child, and she does love him. But, she just have to keep that friendship level with him. That's what she's doing. And I do see them. It was funny. Someone was telling me they see them getting back together 20 years later when all this is said and done. I could see that too. I really can. I could definitely see Portia spinning the block. Not right now because it's too superficial, but later on down the line, I could definitely see her spinning the block. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Portia, buying and Diane the house and explaining her equity in the Duluth home and what she was able to do with that money?
None of it to me made sense, but something is making sense for her to have all these properties. I agree with much of what you guys are saying in the comments. I do feel like she should sell the house and move into Sway's new house, but I don't think Portia, until I see her with Sway, I don't really know if it'll last. And the reason I say that is because we've seen Portia date a couple people. We saw her with Dennis. We saw her with Cordell. The only one that it seemed like she actually had like a connection with, oddly, was Dennis. I don't see her having that connection and interest and like will to want something to work that she had with Dennis, with anyone that she's dated, Sway included. So I don't know if she'll move into that house. I also feel like the fact that Portia's a Cancer, once you play with a Cancer, like, they're vengeful like Geminis. They're not going to let go till they get their get back. So I feel like keeping that house from Salmon is her get back. So she's not going to let go of that house. But yeah. I mean, it's nice that she bought something for her mom. I think that's most people's goals in life, to be able to support the parent or whoever it is that you care for that helped you get to where you are. And I agree with James. I don't think it's paid off, but I think she paid the mortgage for the year, saved some of that interest.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I
But
don't think, the house that she had with Simon, no, I don't think she paid that out. I think she caught her mortgage up for the rest of the year. So, because remember, they filmed this last year. So I think she paid up until, because you can do that. You can pay your
mhm.
mortgage up to the rest of the year and also pay up your taxes as well. So that way you ain't got to worry about nothing else for a few
My
months while you.
grandmother did that, and she ended
Hmm.
up paying off her house 10 years early because they
Yeah.
said she saved so much on
Yeah.
interest and costs. But yeah, Portia,
Hmm.
good for you, but can we get more?
Hi, Naya. Thank you for being here. And yes, I call him Salmon on my channel. I do. Um, Congrats on buying your mother a house. Tariq, take notes. Girl.
Poor Tariq. He just be minding his business,
Girl, don't
catching
be put that
strays.
pressure on him like that. Like, don't put no pressure on him. Like, if he does do it, that's absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And we will be there right there at your housewarming party. But don't be putting your pressure on your son like that, girl.
I
He
told
gonna be all right.
Shani in my earlier live, I told Shani, as soon as I'm in the East Coast, Shani, listen, I'll cook with you, but we gonna eat and we finna smoke. And I told her I'm dragging you, Courtney, and Keywan
Okay, that's
by
fine.
the scalp.
I'm not gonna smoke with y'all, but I'm definitely gonna eat.
Oh, we
Cause,
don't want you to smoke. That
Cause
would be rude.
y'all two in the kitchen. I know it's about to be on and popping. So, anyways, y'all, K Michelle and Portia have their date nights with Mike and Dr. Caston. They go bowling, and K Michelle, as you know, as the men are bowling, she basically says, "Okay, so Shamia's having this Halloween party. Are you going?" And she goes, "No. Why would I go to Shamia's party?" She goes, "Yeah, I saw that text message that you sent her and everything." And Portia was like, "Okay, so once again, she's showing off my text messages because remember, y'all, last season, Britt Edie, broke Edie, or whatever we want to call her in today's time, had said to the group that Shamia was showing text messages between her and Portia. So Shamia, this time we caught her doing it, but last season we didn't know if Edie made that up or not. But this season we caught her doing it. So she did do that. And she said, "Girl, like we not doing this." And she goes, "Y'all really is done." She goes, "I ain't got nothing for Shamia. I wish her well. I ain't got nothing for her." So she talks about this man and asks Kate Michelle what she think of him. And she goes, "I like him, but where are you at? Like, are you still, dating the other?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm still dating two people. I'm still doing all that." She goes, "Oh, wow." Kay Michelle don't know what to think about Portia. She's like, "This Portia's something else." Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and split the scene up a little bit because we got to get up out of here. We got to get to Keywan's live. But Shamia's having her Halloween party. And with the Halloween party, everyone dressed up, everyone looked nice. Phaedra's costume made me laugh the hardest because Phaedra looked crazy. I'm sorry. Phaedra, everyone was saying Phaedra looked like the Godfather mixed with James Brown. Phaedra reminded me of Eddie Kane from the Five Heartbeats. I don't know what Phaedra was doing, but that wasn't it, Phaedra. Don't ever do that again. But Kelly comes in there with Jarvis. She has his face hidden, and she says she's doing that on purpose. She doesn't want any tension with her ex-husband. She doesn't want the girls to, be all up on that. And I honestly was listening because he had a couple moments where he spoke, and I was like, that voice sounds so familiar. Like, I feel like I know exactly who Jarvis is, but I cannot put my finger on it. I had said three guesses in my head. I'm not gonna put those guesses out there, but I'm like, but if y'all let me know who y'all think Jarvis is, and we'll see if we on the same page. If y'all actually thought about it like I did. But as everyone gets there, we meet Ashley, who is George's wife. George is the attorney that Shamia has allegedly, according to Angela, has slept with, or Angela accused her or asked her, did she sleep with him? So as Angela gets there, she sees Ashley and everything. She said that, I didn't appreciate, actually, I know I didn't appreciate it. Let's not act like you didn't come to me asking for tea for Shamia. She goes, well, did I ask you for tea or did I ask you if you knew her? She goes, well, that's the same thing to me. You're asking me for tea and asking me if I knew her. That's the same thing. I said, Miss Ashley, we don't know you, but baby, that's not the same thing. Because here's the thing. I can ask somebody if you know somebody, and you could say, yeah, I know them, and that can be the conversation. Now, if I ask what's their birthday, what they like, are they messy, what kind of car they drive, that's me asking for tea. So let's get the context of questions. Now, do I believe Angela asked more than who Shamia was? Like, did she know Shamia? Absolutely. I 100% believe she did. But, that's not on me. I don't really care too much about it. But when George walked up, Angela got her chance to confront him. So she said, "Did you not say at your event that that's something that you would have to pay for because she bought her money? Did you not say that?" He goes, "I've never said that. I've never tried to imply that I wanted to sleep with Shamia. Never said that." So she said, "At your event, you didn't say that Shamia is the type of person you have to pay for it and all this kind of stuff." He goes, well, yeah. I did say that, but I was lit. I was lit at my event and stuff. So you did say it." Is what she's saying. Yes. So I may have said it. Yeah, I was lit though. I didn't say it that I didn't want to imply that. Drew said so. Cynthia and Drew with they cheerleading ass and said, "Okay, so Angela's vindicated. Angela is vindicated." To me, that doesn't vindicate Angela. For me, I still think there's some messiness in there. And I don't know George to call out what it is he could have implied or did not imply. I'm sitting there looking at Ashley and I was like, "Hey, Michelle," I'm like, that relationship, no tea, no shade, allegedly looks very transactional because there's no way in hell. This is given if Sweet Tea was the gorgeous supermodel getting with Dr. G. This is exactly what that looks like to me. So I don't understand it, but hey, Ashley would be a good candidate for the show though, because she seemed like she with the shits and messy. So before I get to Drew's last part of the segment, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Angela confronting George? And do you believe that he implied that?
I don't understand why we came back to this at the end of the season. Like, I didn't understand why they brought this back. It was odd. What I'm going to say about George and his wife, I think they were both very excited to be on camera and able to speak more than a sentence for the Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, they have their own show. Yes, they are successful, but I think that they look forward to it. It did seem like the comment was made, but it doesn't seem like it was made on a serious tip.
Yeah.
Especially being that his wife is aware of that. I feel like Angela was trying to turn something innocent into something problematic because she had nothing. And I just really don't care to talk about it no more. Or to see George again.
I didn't care to talk about it either. I thought it was redundant, but at the same time, as I said, I kind of agree with you. I don't feel like Angela is vindicated. I don't feel like this did anything, but I also don't feel like it was something that was supposed to be taken as a serious thing. I think Angela, for whatever reason, was trying to, put 20 on a $5 bill. I'm just saying. Like
Angela,
that was
I still love Angela, but with this, Angela was reaching. And Shamia, the way she's been, Shamia gonna fuck up regardless. She's either gonna say too much or she's gonna not say enough. Either way, she's gonna do something messy and then she's gonna say sorry. So Angela did not have to pull this out her back pocket just to have some makeshift beef with Shamia.
I agree. 100%. Not Tariq in there cleaning the chicken now. I know that's right. Shana, you frying that chicken? Let me have a piece. Let me see here. So as the party progresses, we played a nice little fun game of guess that rum bum because Shamia wants the bottle to look like an ass. So she had several of the ladies mold their asses, and then they had to play a guessing game of whose ass belonged to who. I did not think because we had a little small part where Dr. Caston said that he actually has a crush on Phaedra or he likes Phaedra, and K. Michelle put that all out there. I said, I keep forgetting their relationship isn't traditional. Meanwhile, she didn't want to come to Halloween because, she believed in Hallelujah night and everything. But, that's neither here nor there. I just thought that was interesting that she, how their marriage worked out based on what she said on interviews. Didn't Angela accuse her of sleeping with George? And didn't she ask her if she was sleeping with George or slept with George? She asked it as a question because of how George implied something. So it wasn't that she was accusing her. She just asked her, just find out, did you do it? And that was up to Shamia to say, no, I did not do it, which she did in the scene. And then it grabbed wings because then it turned into, well, Angela accused me of sleeping with your man and then said that Ashley, the wife, told her that Shamia did it. So it was kind of like a mosh posh mix of bullshit that turned into this big old ordeal. That's why me and Mrs. Best were looking at it like it's ridiculous and stupid. He do look sneaky. I ain't gonna lie. He did look sneaky. And when he got to stutter, I said, okay, that's all I need to know. When people start doing that shit, like Sheree, just be CD skipping. Yeah, y'all can miss me with that one. Because I do believe there was some truth in there somewhere. I feel like if Shamia left the panties on the door, you gonna walk in. So let's not do that. Do not blame Porsha for clowning Shamia for showing the text messages. That is meant for the initial person who received the text message. I would not trust anyone who does that, period. I didn't blame Porsha. Oh, Shani did. Sorry, I missed that. Hey, George, you're lying because you're stuttering. He sure was. That baby said, because his wife was sitting over there. He can't lie. But also, can't get in trouble either. It is a hot mess. All of it was. But the last thing we're going to talk about is Gerald interrupts everything and says that he wants everybody to go out to the front yard. Y'all, this was Gerald's way of putting everybody out. I'm just saying. That was Gerald's way of putting everybody out without putting them out. But he said, everybody come out there. And everyone's thinking, oh, this man brought Shamia another car, which he did. But I don't think it was at this point. He did buy Shamia another car, though. But it's this man that came to the roller rink with Drew, and he brought her a horse, which everybody believed, and me included, that it was a stage thing, because to buy a horse and she was dressed as Beyonce's Cowboy Carter theme, Drew be setting herself up. She do. Drew be setting herself up. Mrs. Best, do you believe Drew set that up?
I'm sorry. You're going to have to repeat. My bad.
No, that's okay. When it came to the man showing up with the horse that was, trying to talk to Drew, and he had a horse and Drew was dressed as the Cowboy Carter theme, do you think that Drew set that up?
No.
You don't think so?
Drew can't even get her kids nowhere on time. Is always late. I don't think she got time for all of that. Not at this point in her life. I don't think she would do that.
Naya said George was messy, Angela was messy, the wife was messy. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to say, not CD. That's how Sheree sound like a CD skipper. She do. I was laughing at P said that not blaming her. I keep mine just in case. Hey, Dr. Jim, buddy, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, my love. He started sweating and growing hair on his head. Naya. Remember that deodorant commercial back in the day that ended with homeboy saying, I'm on a horse? Oh, stop. Gerald said enough of that. He sure did. Gerald's put everybody out. Gerald said everybody got to go. Like everybody got to go. What are we doing? I was so confused. It was so random. Is it a bird, a plane, or a horse? Right? Like crazy. But that was pretty much the episode, y'all. It was, I try to make this short and sweet, try to get everything. If I miss things, you guys, I'm sorry. I only talk about what was really interesting to me. Portia's date with K. Michelle, and that wasn't interesting to me. That was kind of redundant conversation, repeating like the whole episode. Next week is the season finale, and I cannot wait. And then we have the 3-part reunion. So we're going to be saying goodbye to Real Housewives of Atlanta soon. So, happy to get through this season. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Mrs. Best, for being here. I appreciate you as well. That commercial. But yes, you guys. So as I said, we're all going to be in Keywan's live in her comment section, hyping her up, getting her ready to go live for Heart and Hustle Houston. I would appreciate it if everybody's here, goes over to her channel. She'll be starting her live in about probably the next 20 to 30 minutes. So please show up, like the video, comment on her page as well. And we will see you guys next time. My next video will be, of course, Heart and Hustle Houston and Bell Collective, the reunion part 1. I may sneak a video somewhere here. Oh, and I have Next Gen NYC on Thursday. I may sneak a video here and there to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta looks, which one was my favorite and least favorite. So we'll see you guys there. Oh, Keywan said 8:05, which is Central Pacific time for those of you who are curious. So go ahead and go to Keywan's channel now. We finna go ahead and get off my live so we can go to hers. But I'll see you guys there. Thank you. And once again, shout out to my replay gang. I appreciate y'all as well. Like, comment, and subscribe to the video and to the channel, please. Have a good one, y'all. Good night.